Welcome back. The next several grammar points will be talking about little particles that are added to sentences that influence the meaning and give flavor and nuance to the meaning of sentences. They're super common in Chinese, and it's important to get used to them. The most common one that you need that is great to learn is la. So here's the character, very simple character. It actually has two strokes, 1 and 2, but commonly kind of as a shorthand, people write it as 1. So la, it is a little particle, and whenever this, it actually has several different meanings. If you look up la in the dictionary, you'll see a list of meanings. And whenever I see a word or a phrase like this that has multiple meanings, I try to find some sort of idea that brings the different uses together, sort of a fundamental idea. And as far as I can tell, the fundamental idea of la is it indicates some sort of change. And so I'm going to talk about two uses of la in this video. They are change of state and completion of an action. Change of state and completion of an action. So let's first talk about change of state. It's put at the end of a sentence, la is put at the end of a sentence to indicate that something has changed. So let me give you some examples. Here's the phrase, 我42岁了. Now you should know this, 我42岁 means I'm 42. The la just gives the idea that I'm now 42. So I'm 42. I'm 42 now. Isn't that great? 我42岁了. And so I don't need the la for the grammar of the sentence. I can just say I'm 42, but the la gives a sense that I'm now 42. So I have changed from 41 to 42. I'm telling you that I'm now 42. Here we have another phrase, 下雨了. 下 means down or under, 雨 is rain, and then 了. So 下雨 is the phrase, it's raining. The 了 here indicates that it's begun raining. It wasn't raining before, and now it's raining. 下雨了, it's raining. That's how I would say, if I would tell my children, you know, look outside, it's raining. I would say, 下雨了. It has begun raining, essentially. It's raining now. Here's another phrase, 吃饭了. 吃饭了. Now, as you'll see over here, it can mean something else, but in this case, it means that it's time to eat. It's eat now. It's eating has come. So when I say to somebody, when I say to my children, 吃饭了, I'm saying, come eat. But the way I'm saying is it's like saying, let's eat. It's more like I'm saying, it's eating time now. 吃饭了. It sounds a little bit like a command, but it's not technically a command. It's talking about a change of state. We weren't eating before, but now it is time to eat. Well, and then when this is negated, when this change of state is negated, it means that something is no longer happening or is no longer the case. So here's an example, 我不去了. This means it's I not go 了. So 我不去了, it means I'm not going anymore. I was planning to go, but now I'm not going. 我不去了. So the la indicates a change of state. I can give some other examples. If I say 他们走了, oh, excuse me, wrong one. That goes over there. Completion. I was at the wrong point in my notes again. If I say 知道了, 知道 means to know. If I say 知道了 in response to someone tells me something, and then I say 知道了, it means now I understand, now I know. If I say 我饿了, 我饿了, that means I'm hungry now. I wasn't hungry earlier, but now I am. 我饿了, I've become hungry. It means, you translate it, I'm hungry, most times, but you could also say I'm hungry now. Okay, so that's the use of change of state. It goes at the end of the sentence. For completion, la has another use. It indicates that a verb has been completed. And now, in this case, la can go directly after the verb, or it can go at the end of the phrase as well, as it was over here. Here it goes, when it's change of state, the la applies to the whole phrase, and so it goes at the end of the phrase. The whole phrase is now changed. There's a new change of state. But here we're talking about the completion of one verb. And so it can go after the verb or at the end of the phrase as well. So here we have 我吃饭了. That means I have eaten. 我吃饭了. Now you'll notice 吃饭了 and here 吃饭了it's the same words, but it's a different context. And so it's a different use and use of the word la, different nuance change or meaning change. So I have eaten. This here the le comes at the end of the phrase. 他喝了2杯水. Ta, he, drink, le. 他喝了. So here the le is right next to the verb. 他喝了, he drank, or he drank 2杯水, 2 cups of water. 2杯 means 2 cups water. This 杯 is a measure word meaning cup. So 他喝了2杯水. Now I want to point out, some people will refer to this usage of le as being past tense, but it's not past tense. That you need to get that out of your head. That'll hurt you, that'll burn you if you think of it that way, because it's not past tense because it's referring to completion of a verb, but that completion could be future, like by tomorrow I will have drunk 2 cups of water. That's silly, but by tomorrow I will have drunk 2 gallons of water, I could say. So I'm talking about something that will happen in the future, but it's completed at that time, and so I would use le. So le is not about tense, it's about completion of a verb in this case. All right, so if you make it a ma question, I just want to point out that here, if I put the le at the end of the phrase, and I have a ma to make it a yes or no question, also at the end, the le comes first, the ma comes last. That's important to know, just how to put those 2 things together. So if I ask, 你吃饭了吗? 你吃饭了吗? That means, have you eaten? 吃饭 means eat. 你吃饭了吗? Have you eaten? Now, incidentally, this is a really good phrase to know. It's super common in China to actually ask somebody, have you eaten, when you first see them as a greeting. It's very similar to the way we say, how are you in English, when we don't actually expect a detailed response. It's just a greeting. We say, hey, hi, how are you? And we're not expecting them to tell us their depressing story from the past week. We just expect them to say, good, how are you? And then we say, good. And it's not really asking, really, how you doing? It's just saying, hey, how are you? It's a greeting. In the same way in Chinese, they ask, 你吃饭了吗? Have you eaten? As a way just to say like hello. And the answer is, meaning, or you can say 吃了 or 吃饭了. You just answer the question affirmatively. Sometimes even if you haven't eaten recently, just to say, yeah, I've eaten. Just like you say, I'm good, when you're not necessarily good. It's just a phrase. It's just a greeting. And so a very interesting cultural piece there. This phrase is great to know. 你吃饭了吗? You can ask it as soon as you see somebody that you know. Great. The next particle I'd like to teach you is na. Na has several uses, but we're going to focus on just one now. Na is tacked on at the end of a phrase or sentence to make a reciprocal question or a what about, how about question. You know, in English we might say, how about you, or what about you, or and you. That kind of thing it's to make a what about question is how you just use na. It's very simple and convenient. So here's the first example. There's a dialogue between person A and B, and so A says 你多大? You should know that one. That means how old are you? 你多大? And the answer is 42岁. 你呢? So 42, and then 你呢 means and you, or what about you? So I'm how old are you? 42. And you? And then the A responds 我35岁. I'm 35. So in English that would simply go, how old are you? I'm 42. How about you? Or and you? And the answer is I'm 35. So the 你呢 just takes the same question, and reciprocates it back to the next person. And so that's a reciprocal question, or a what about question. Here, this isn't reciprocal, but it's the same idea about what about you. 我明天打球，你呢? This means I tomorrow. 打球, it literally means to hit ball, but it means to play ball. It could be referring to soccer or basketball or American football, that kind of thing. So 我明天打球, I'm going to play ball tomorrow. 你呢? And you? It means what about you? Will you come as well or not? So it's kind of, if I were talking to my friend and I'm talking about my plans tomorrow, and at the same time inviting him or her to come, I could say this: 我明天打球，你呢? I'm going to play ball tomorrow. And you? Or what about you? That's a use of na. The next particle I'd like to teach you is a. A is tacked on at the end of phrases, and it's basically a verbal exclamation point. It adds urgency or excitement or exclamation emphasis to a phrase. And so it's ubiquitous in Chinese. You'll hear it all the time. It's like la, it's all over the place. So here's a couple of examples. If I want to say, it's true, or that's so, or someone says, are you really 42? And I'd say, yeah, yes I am. I could say, sure ah, that means is, or that's so. Sure ah, the ah makes it like an exclamation point. How about this one? 我很好啊. This means 我很好 means I'm very good. And the ah just makes an exclamation point, basically. 我很好啊, I'm great. Here's a conversation that you might hear. 你可以帮我吗? The ma makes it a question. So the statement is, you can help me. Ma, can you help me? 你可以帮我吗? And the person might respond affirmatively, 可以呀. Yes, I can. In Chinese, when you respond affirmatively to a question, one of the most basic ways to do it, the most common way, is to just repeat the verb of the sentence. So the question is, 你可以帮我吗? And so the answer is can. Can you help me? Can ah. Can ah. That's how you answer questions in Chinese. If the answer was no, I'd say 不可以, cannot, or 不能, cannot. So that's the use of ah. You'll hear it all the time.